Hello, I'm Phil, KA8ZKR. I'm going to do an instructional video on how to create the map data files to use in the APRS-IS program. The APRS-IS application is a Windows program which can receive APRS packet data or data packets from either the internet or a connected radio or both and plot this tracking information on the map. If you have a predetermined route, like for a marathon course, you can add details to your APRS-IS map, like the course route and mile markers or aid station positions. This can help you readily see where the position reports are in relation to the course route or important locations. There are two types of files that can be added or overlaid onto the APRS-IS map. When you go to the Configure menu, there's the Overlays choice on the menu. You can add a GPX or you can add a POS file. The GPX is the route file. The POS is position file for individual points that could designate mile markers or aid stations that are along the route. I will demonstrate how to create both of these files. So let's start with the GPX data. The easiest way that I found to create this file is to use an online web tool called MapMyRun. This is a free tool published by Under Armour. Now, I've got a free account that I use on their system. I don't believe that you can create a route if you don't have an account on their system. The other important thing that you need to create the route is a map of the route that you're going to create. I will use a map published by the U.S. Air Force for their 10K run that they do. So we start by opening your web browser and going to mapmyrun.com. We would then go to the routes page and we would go to create a route. The map opens up along with a control bar on the left. You can accept the default controls here. This is setting for a running route. You can avoid highways if you want. If you're running on the highway, you might want to turn that off. You can show distance markers, elevation, traffic, all these things won't really matter once you create the GPX file because the APRS program does not use any of this extra data. So the first thing we need to do is get our map here to the approximate right location. To do this, I'm going to type WPAFB into the search bar for Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. And when I click on that, it goes center onto Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. I can then click and drag the map because I know that the course is starting over here on the other side of the base. And we see the starting location, as indicated here on their map, is at this intersection of these roads here. So we'll start the route by simply clicking. Once we get our cursor in the right spot, here is where our course starts. So to create the route, we start clicking on the roads, and I'll note before we start that we're got the checkbox here that says auto follow roads. So the route will stick to established roads that are displayed on the map. You can use this map view or you can use a satellite view, whichever your preference is. So we're going to start building the route, and we simply follow the route as indicated by our source map by clicking on the roads that correspond to the route. And we'll note that the auto follow roads checkbox is on, so we can click anywhere on the road that's part of our course, and it follows. Note that the map published by the Air Force Marathon is not north pointing, so it's slightly skewed in relation to the map that's on the Map My Run website. We keep clicking and following the route. Notice that we just crossed the 1 mile point. It shows off a little bit different than what the Air Force Marathon route is, but they've measured their route, so I'm confident that they've got their route correct. So we'll continue clicking on the route. All the way back to the intersection of Spots Drive or Spots Street. And from this point, I know that the roads do not indicate well, so we'll turn the auto follow roads off. Let's go back to satellite view as well. And we simply are going to run down to here. We're going to make a corner here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And then right there is the finish line. And so we have now created the route. At this point, we're going to hit Save Route. Give the route a meaningful name. So this is the Air Force Marathon 10K route. You can give it a description if you like. Activity type, this is set to run. You can set this to anything you like. It really doesn't matter. You can decide your privacy settings, if you can keep it private, share it with your friends, or share it with the public. Whatever you like. It doesn't matter to us using this to create the GPX data file. So we'll hit Save Route at this point. And the system goes off and creates the route. Puts it on a nice little map here. If you scroll down, you can see the elevation data along the bottom. But here's the very important thing that you want is the download button. And we want to download to GPX file. Choose the place that you like and change the file name if you want to have something meaningful, like Air Force Marathon 10K route. Just something you'll be able to figure out when you go to download it into the APRSIS program. So we'll hit the Save button at this point, and file has now been created. So from here we can go back to our APRSIS program. Let's maximize that in the window. And we go to Configure. We go down to Overlays. Over out here, we want to add a GPX file. So you go to wherever the location was that you just stored that nice GPX file. So there we pick our file. We click Open. The data points are now importing. And so the file has been loaded. And if you look really close, you can see the root file here. It's kind of faint. We'll zoom in just a little bit. Uh, there we go. Now you can see. Now we want to make that a little bit more visible, so we can adjust some of the parameters here. So instead of using coral, we can use crimson, and we'll increase the percentage of the line so that it's a little bit thicker, show up a little bit easier, and you can increase the or decrease the transparency, so to speak, by increasing this number, so it shows up as a little bit darker line. None of the other checkboxes here really matter, and that's it. You hit accept, and you now have the course route laid out on top of your APRS IS map. So the next thing we would need to do is go create our position files or POS files, and that will be part 2 of this instructional video. So we'll go ahead and pause at this point. So I'm going to add in a few little comments that I got in. Had a couple of folks that I worked with on the marathon review this training video and got some good feedback. And so from Randy Allen, he just wanted me to mention that sometimes there's organizations that will create their own routes and post them in the Map My Ride, Map My Run. So if the route's already created, sure, go use the route they created, export that GPX file, and go ahead and use that. There's no reason you have to go build it all on your own. And another idea that Randy had, if it's practical, you can drive, walk, or ride on the route with a GPS that saves the routes as a .gpx file. And he's experienced with some Garmin units that will do this. Then you could export that out of the Garmin unit and pull it into the computer and use that in your program. So just a couple of other ways of creating that GPX file, and that's what I've shown here is not the only way. So it's just a way that I find convenient and how I can do it. So that's what I wanted to share. And thanks to Randy Allen and Joe Clark for reviewing the file, the video files here, and hope to see you next time. This is Phil, KA8ZKR 73s.